Welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Farsi Show, presented by MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride. Oh, my goodness gracious. The curious case of Jesus Luzardo. 20 earned runs now in his last two starts. That's terrible. Absolutely dominant, really, through his first 10 starts of the season. Did not allow more than 2 runs on more than one occasion. One time, he allowed 3 runs in 10 starts. He did not allow more than 3 runs in any of those starts. And now, 20 runs. 20 in his last 3. And by the way, all earned. I know the Trey Turner misplay yesterday in shallow left field, going towards the angled wall there, or the turn there in the foul territory at Rogers Center, was off his mitt. He hustled to get to the spot and then missed it. Not an error, a single. As a matter of fact, because baseball's funny like that now. But he has just been terrible. Absolutely terrible. One horrible start. Hey, it can happen to anybody. I remember Zach Wheeler, 2 years ago against the Nationals, got rocked at Citizens Bank Park. And this was an example of, that start against the Brewers was an example of, it's going to happen to anybody. And then he comes out and gets rocked again. 2 1/3. 8 earned runs in yesterday's ball game. After the game, of course, they asked Rob Thompson, what do you think the problem is? I don't know. They asked Jesus Luzardo. I'll let you hear from him. I don't know. Jesus Luzardo, breaking news, feels great physically. I'm sure mentally he's probably thinking, what the hell's going on? But he tried the cornrows. That didn't work. Didn't you get the memo? Jesus Luzardo, if you're a Philadelphia sports figure, you buzz the head in times of struggles. Nick Sirianni, Bryce Harper. Sirianni won the Super Bowl. Bryce Harper went on and hit 300 for a month. That's what you do. You buzz the head. You don't go cornrows. So first off, that was his mistake. I couldn't help, because you guys know what a sucker I am for movie quotes. I couldn't help. This is so in the weeds. This isn't even Major League. This is Major League 2. I know next week, check back, I'll be Major League 3, back to the minors. But Jesus Luzardo, the new haircut and all that stuff, reminded me of, was it Jack Parkman of Major League 2? Same new haircut, same dead arm, right? That's what it reminded me of yesterday. And I know that 20 earned runs is historically god-awful. But the Phillies offense, where a lot of that money is, 4 runs in their last, 26 innings? That, too, is terrible. And for me, it brings me back to the worst fear when you think about this Phillies team. They, historically, have just all of a sudden gone ice cold as a lineup, where all of a sudden Kyle Schwarber over the last 2 games doesn't look like he could put a ball out of a ballpark to save his life. Now, look, it's 2 games as far as Kyle Schwarber goes. Still been your best player all year. Trey Turner, hot as anything in game 1 of this series. Nothing the rest of the way. Bryson Stott, huge disappointment as a leadoff hitter. We've been talking about that for about a week now. It was a week ago that I was talking about, it's time to talk about how a 325 on-base percentage for a leadoff hitter ain't it. And it's not like it's a 325 or 335 of a Jimmy Rollins where you're getting home runs, you're getting stolen bases, and you're getting production like that. Bryson Stott, for all the great things we've said about him over the year, what is he going to be? How is he going to be? Is he going to be this? Is he going to be that? Gold glove maybe in the field? That, I still think is very much in contention for. But as far as being that hitter that we all hoped he could be, it's been more than a minute now with him. Maybe this is just what he is. Shoulder injury be damned from last year. This is what he's doing now. That ain't great. Nick Castellanos just continues to hit. God bless that guy. I mean, hey, would you need someone to hit 275? Yeah, you can hit 275. I was looking it up yesterday. I didn't even realize his career batting average, 275. I always reference the numbers of last year, 275, 275, 276, 274. Now this year, same exact thing you're looking at, except now 285 after a bunch of hits yesterday. But the thing that I worry about the most with this team isn't the bullpen. It isn't the pitching. It's all of a sudden the inability to score runs, because that is what has bit the Phillies in the butt over the last handful of years. This makeup of the team all of a sudden not being able to hit. And this is what we're going through right now. It was against the Brewers. It's now against the Blue Jays. You have one good game against the Blue Jays. You scored 7 runs, most of those coming in the 9th inning against the Brewers. But the offense just goes cold. Jesus Luzardo has pitched a lot of innings, obviously, by last year's standard, obviously. But I feel like he's going to bounce back. And I feel like he's going to be a better pitcher than we've seen over the last 2 starts, please. But the lineup is always going to be the lineup. So the way I look at it is, what can change with this team? Yeah, sure. I'd love to see bullpen help added. Yesterday we talked about Aroldis Chapman potentially joining. Look, that's gonna probably cost a hefty amount there for the Red Sox to part ways with him, and I don't think that's a deal that's going to happen anytime soon. I think that's going to be something that happens down the line in terms of him getting moved, not necessarily to the Phillies, but just in terms of him being moved. So I don't see that happening. So if you're Dave Dombrowski, Jesus Luzardo, right now, I would assume he'd have confidence in bouncing back. Like, I have confidence in him being better than 20 earned runs over 2 games. Much better than that. But still, over the last 2 starts, he hasn't looked like it. Max Kepler, as your offseason acquisition to be your left fielder, he ain't it. I got to worry about him getting in the way of Brandon Marsh in center field or Johan Rojas in center field. I got to worry about him hitting 330, or excuse me, 230. No thanks. 330 would be nice. No, thank you. Out on that. Jordan Romano looked like he was starting to figure things out, and then not so much. These are your key offseason acquisitions, Dave Dombrowski. Key offseason acquisitions brought in to put you over the hump, get you back on track to really being a World Series contender. And so far, not doing it. Not doing it. So what's the move here? Because I know a lot of people will look at it and go, "Oh, well, it's only June. It's not like it's August, September." It's like, okay, well, you really wait the last 2 months to start trying to be the best version of yourself, really? Here's why it's not a panic to think that Dave Dombrowski needs to make a significant move now. I'll go back to this reference again. Haven't we seen this play before? Haven't we seen the way this ended? You had last year 37-14 to a barely over 500 team the rest of the way. This team needs someone to come up and kick him in the ass. Now, when I say come in and kick him in the ass, now I don't think that's going to be Justin Crawford. I don't think it's going to be Andrew Painter. It's not going to be Aiden Miller. Otto Kemp? Are we holding out for Otto Kemp? Are we thinking the significant change is going to be Trey Turner in center field? I don't see that happening. I think Dave Dombrowski is going to look at this team and go, well, I'm not going to have somebody for the minor leagues save them. And I would love to see Andrew Painter come up here despite his last start at the minors and join Mick Abel as maybe someone to turn the tides when it comes to this rotation. And it comes to Luzardo struggling. It comes to Aaron Nola being out. It comes to Taijuan Walker not being a starting pitcher anymore. I would love to see those 2 acquisitions to your starting line, or excuse me, to your starting rotation. I don't think that's happening soon. So what's the move? The unfortunate only move I could potentially see happening, and I'm not betting on it, I'm just saying potentially see it happening, is Kyle Schwarber being moved back to the leadoff spot. It's June. It's June 5th, and the Phillies haven't looked so hot. Kyle Schwarber had a 10-homer month in the month of May. Is May the new June for Kyle Schwarber? I don't know. In years past, the year they went to the World Series, Kyle Schwarber got moved to the top of the order. Next thing you know, big bang, boom. People are hitting. That lineup didn't have Trey Turner in it. Does Trey Turner go to the leadoff spot? Been your best consistent hitter this season. Do you have him go up there to lead off? What's the change? We're talking about over the last 2 series, you've won 1 game. Over your last 7 games, you've won 1 game. You've scored 4 runs in 26 innings. That ain't great. And you know historically, this lineup has just gone ice cold. So what happens here? I don't need, Kyle Schwarber traded. I don't need Bryce Harper traded. I don't need anything overreaction like that. But something's got to change with this team. And I look at Bryson Stott, and again, a week ago, I said, are we still comfortable with this? Because I know we all love the guy. I know we all been, excuse me, talking about his potential forever, what he could bring to the table for this Phillies team. But maybe he just ain't it. Maybe he's not a 1, 2, or 3 hitter in his career. Maybe he is a 7, 8, 9 hole hitter in his career. You're talking about a guy right now in the leadoff spot with a .311 on-base percentage. You're talking about a guy right now, 244 he's hitting on the season. Oh, he's got 15 home runs, right? Nope, he's got 4. Like, this ain't it. And we're not talking about a young buck anymore. We're not talking about a 23-year-old Bryson Stott anymore. We're talking about a 27-year-old who is showing you who he really is. I had higher hopes for him. And unfortunately now, you're looking at a guy in his 4th big league season that maybe he is what he is. Looking at his numbers through his career, his rookie season, 234 with a 295 on-base percentage. Following year, hey, 151 games, 280, 329. All right. 15 homers. Okay, fella. 245, 315. This year, 244, 311. Maybe this is just who he is. Great defensive second baseman. No, at this rate, I would not move him over to short. I'd keep him right where he is. Look, other than changing your leadoff hitter, and maybe just going back to, hey, maybe I can get that instant offense with Kyle Schwarber at the top of the order and get that one other than who protects Bryce Harper. Well, then that would have to be Nick Castellanos again or Alec Bohm again. Maybe that's what you have to do. But something has to be done because this is wildly inconsistent. And for anyone that wants to go, did they just win 9 games in a row? Yeah, they did. And really, that's your benchmark is how they played the Rockies. That's not mine. My benchmark is comparing them to a World Series contending team, which is who they're supposed to be. You spend money like this, you're supposed to have a World Series title in your vision, in your line of sight. And does anybody feel that right now with the Phillies? Does anybody feel that really going into the season? I didn't. I did not like the Max Kepler acquisition. I did not think that was going to be anything special, and here we are. I wanted to see Bryson Stott come out and really, hit, just hit. I'd love to see. When he was moved to the top of the order, I said, I think this is the best version of the Phillies offense that you could have. He's been a disappointment. The only 2 possible shakeups. One is, again, Kyle Schwarber going back to the leadoff spot. The other is Trey Turner moving to center field. Schwarber going back to the leadoff spot would be one I would say, okay, maybe. But Turner going to center field, although I would like to see it, I don't understand. I don't see them doing it. I don't foresee it happening, unfortunately. Now, I don't think Otto Kemp is coming up. I don't think Bryson Stott's being moved over to short. And Mundo Sosa, I told you the first month of the season he was going to come back down to earth. That's who. I mean, speaking of who you are as a player, that's who Edmundo Sosa is. He's not an everyday player. Maybe he gets another opportunity to do it. I would doubt it. But I like I said, the only thing I see the Phillies potentially doing is moving Schwarber back to the top of the order. Would you be in support of that? I'm at a point where if that's the way you get consistent offense, that's the way you get consistent offense. As far as protecting Bryce Harper, has it done a hell of a lot for him? Well, in a month, you're talking about a 300 hitter, talking about a 383 on base percentage. So, yeah, it's done something for him, all right, but I'm still now seeing him miss fastballs. And the last 2 games that he's had were very similar to what I said yesterday. The game he had in game 2 against the Blue Jays, that game was what I expected from him in his first game back. Yesterday's game, game 3, was the game I expected him to have in his first 2 games back. I would have expected the 3rd game back to be more of, okay, I got my timing back after no live batting practice. And then he would crank a home run. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. This is a bad spot to be in right now for the Phillies. And I know their overall record is great, but we've seen them have a great overall record. It's all about whether or not you have confidence in this Philadelphia Phillies team winning a World Series. That's the measuring stick. That's the bar. It's not, oh, wow, they beat the Pirates 3 times, and then they beat the Rockies, and then they took 2 and 3 from the A's. Oh, my God, World Series contender. That is not the measuring stick for this Phillies team. Can we still milk the idea that months ago they beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3? Yeah, that's fun. We can go back to that, right? They got a bullpen game today. Joe Ross is supposed to pitch for them, to open for them against the Pirates. So Bailey Falter will be on the hill. Former Philly Bailey Falter will be on the hill for the Pirates. He's been having a great year. So good times. I promised you Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia. Jesus Luzardo yesterday was about 20 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Anything you can point to, Jesus Luzardo, that he could be correct?
Nothing I can point to now. Obviously, we need to fix something and fast. The last 2 starts have just gotten out of control extremely fast, and we just need to get back in there and figure it out. Talk to Caleb, talk to Lowy, some of the other pitching guys, see if we can pick something up. But there's something obvious that we're missing. The first 11 starts are lights out, and then the next 2 are 20 earned runs, like you said. There's got to be something that we can find and fix and make that change. It has to happen fast.
Yeah, that'd be great if it happened. It'd be great if it happened real fast. Like now, if it happened, that'd be fantastic. I always give them, look, plenty of people cower away from the microphones after some pretty big struggles, unfortunately. Many of them cower. He didn't. Stood there, took the questions, seemed baffled while still seeming positive that he's going to get out of it. And hey, look, more power to him. What we saw in his first 10 starts, incredible. I hope he gets back to that as soon as humanly possible. It did come up yesterday in the press conference with Rob Thompson as to whether or not the amount of innings that he's logged this year has gotten to him. And it seems like the minute he went past his innings total from a year ago, he started to really struggle. I saw a 10-game stretch where he was just absolutely fire. And then obviously the health issue comes out. Now, when he says nothing you can point to go back to that, doesn't think he's tipping pitches. Just guys are really aggressive, especially early in the count. I can remember stretches like this, not like this when I say 20 earned runs, but pitchers that just hammer the strike zone. It'll click for batters where they say, okay, they know they're pitching first pitch. Cliff Lee went through something like this. Roy Halladay went through something like this. Not 20 earned runs, just in terms of, okay, pound the strike zone. If we're swinging early, you give us that fastball, that first pitch fastball, we're going to jump on it. And more often than not, that has been the Phillies' strategy as an offense too many times, unfortunately, and it hasn't worked out many times. But it seems like that's what a lot of guys are doing right now on Jesus Luzardo, is trying to jump on that first pitch fastball, knowing he's going to try to pound the strike zone, and they're going to try to jump on whatever they can. Rob Thompson was also asked about tipping pitches, if that's something that the Phillies have considered. And he's like, yeah, we've looked at everything. We're still looking at everything. We're trying to figure this out because they are very aggressive early in counts. So if they see something with the way he's holding his mitt, if he's fanning his mitt too much and they know a curveball is coming or a breaking ball is coming, then they're going to hold off on it. That's just an example. But Rob Thompson still and this Phillies pitching staff, Caleb Cotham, you have yet to crack the code on everything. So that leaves it to, all right, fatigue, overall health. Jesus Luzardo, how are we feeling?
Great. I think early in the season, everyone goes through some stuff and physically feeling certain things. And now that I'm not feeling, I feel great and I feel healthy. And so that's the most, I think, frustrating part. Like I said last time, that, when you feel good, you want to go out there and give as much length as you can. And when you don't give length, that's what's frustrating.
Certainly frustrating for Jesus Luzardo. Phillies back at it tonight. 6:45 start time, PNC Park against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They start a 3-game series. Hey, by the way, speaking of Pittsburgh, how about Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers? There you go. Pittsburgh looking for another one-year veteran quarterback. Can you solve our problems? See if that actually happens. 6:45 tonight in Pittsburgh, 3-game series. over the weekend. Yeah, it hasn't been fun. Hasn't been fun over the last 7 games for your Philadelphia Phillies. That one game was nice. That one first inning was nice. Everything else, and not so much. Your Philadelphia Eagles. Kicking this around yesterday with the Eagles squad crew got me thinking about the game against the Giants last year and the game against the Bengals last year. That's where you really started to feel like the Eagles were going to hit a stride, because remember, when they started their 10-game losing or winning streak, their first game that they won on that 10-game winning streak was against the Browns. And that was the game that I refer to as a moral loss, where you won the game, but you felt pretty terrible about it. I.e., the offense didn't look great. Defense was on point. Nick Sirianni yelling at the fans. Nick Sirianni saying he called a defensive play, and he didn't. And we all kind of knew at the time, like, he called a defense. And then later in the week, Vic Fangio was like, he didn't call. What? He didn't call defense. So even though they won, he didn't feel great about it. He didn't feel like, oh, they've corrected their problems. Watch out. And then they dominate the Giants, and then they dominate the Bengals. Saquon looks pretty damn good. Jalen looks wildly efficient. Things were clicking offensively, and you started to really feel like, oh, wow, 3 in a row now for the Eagles? Let's go. And everything just worked out after that. And obviously they went on, won the Super Bowl. Well, we all know how that went. But I started thinking about guys like Grant Cockett, like under-the-radar guys that you really feel need to have a big step forward, like to have the most to prove in the upcoming season. Now, Dallas Goedert being back, of course, means Dallas Goedert's the number one guy. Dallas Goedert being back on a full $4 million pay cut with $10 million now guaranteed, fully guaranteed of the $10 million. It's still a contract year for Dallas Goedert. Of the notable players, like the guys that you know have talent and could do it again, the guy with the most to prove is Dallas Goedert. Because Dallas Goedert not only has just production to achieve, he's got to stay healthy, and he's got to prove to the rest of the league that he can stay healthy and be a huge part of the offense for 17 games. Because if he does that, and this team wins in the playoffs, and hey, let's keep the good vibes going, wins another Super Bowl, and he's parading down Broad Street again. If he does that, 17 games, great production, and he will be a focal point of the offense, obviously, and wins the Super Bowl, you're talking about a guy that's going to be threatening that George Kittle $19 million, $20 million type deal, average annual salary. So you're talking about the most to prove. Business-wise, league-wide, Dallas Goedert's the number one guy with something to prove this year, and that number one thing is health. Staying through an entire season and playing at a level that's going to warrant an offseason contract, probably with somebody else, to take a huge leap forward, like doubling your average annual salary. So I think from a business standpoint, from a production standpoint, the guy with the most to prove is Dallas Goedert to stay healthy this year. Now, the more under-the-radar guys that you could look at, the first name I look at is Jalix Hunt. From guys that were here last year to this year, guys that have to take that big step forward. Look, Nolan Smith took 2 big steps forward last year. So if he just started out at that same step going into this year, obviously showing that he's healthy and ready to, just get after it, then I'd be ecstatic. But Jalix Hunt, to me, in his rookie season, showed a good amount of promise. Played strong in the playoffs, played very strong in the Super Bowl. That's the jumping off point for me when it comes to Jalix Hunt and what he's able to bring to the table for this season. Absolutely is something to prove. And now you talk about guys that he's going to be competing with as edge rushers. You're going to be talking about Azeez Ojulari. You're going to be talking about Uche. You're going to be talking about guys like this to come in here, and they're going to try to take over as sack leader of the Philadelphia Eagles. Can you talk about guys on 1-year deals with something to prove, similar to Dallas Goedert? It's not just you playing well for the Eagles this year. You're playing for the rest of your career. Jalix Hunt has a shoe-in when it comes to being a guy going into his sophomore season. The Eagles obviously had invested in him a little bit, so he's going to be here. These other guys, they're hungry. They're looking for that next deal because they have a good year, similar to Dallas Goedert. Maybe not record-breaking, but similar to Dallas Goedert, they're going to have a big payday at the end of the day. But guys that were here last year moving to this year, Jalix Hunt's obviously competing with himself to take a step forward. Then he's also competing with other guys that are going to be getting after the quarterback, attempting to get after the quarterback, that have a rather big bag of money waiting for him at the end of this season if they're able to do it with success. So in terms of last year's roster to the carryover of this year, and by the way, letting go a guy like Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham finally calling it a career. You would love to see one of your homegrown talents take over. So whether it's him taking over for Josh Sweat or him even taking over to fill a void left behind by Brandon Graham, and how good, let's not forget, the illustrious career, Brandon Graham, phenomenal. But the way he played before he was hurt under Vic Fangio exceeded my wildest expectations for Brandon Graham. Can Jalen Hunt just take that role? Can Nolan Smith go over and take the Josh Sweat role? What are you going to get from Uche Ojulari? Ojulari has so much talent; it's just a matter of him staying healthy. But when we talk about two of the guys that I really think have the most to prove that were on last year's roster going into this year, Dallas Goedert league-wide. We know what he can be talent-wise, but he's got to prove he can stay healthy. And if he does that, the Brinks truck is going to back up for him. Also, the Eagles' offense to have that asset for 17 games, that'd be pretty spectacular. And then defensively speaking, I look at Jalen Hunt stepping up. Now, and we talked about this earlier in the week, but Vic Fangio's comments about Cooper DeJean and the versatility of Cooper DeJean, I don't know anyone that could take a negative, apply a negative take to that. Like, I assume some people might look at it as, well, he's great. He's great as a nickel, so leave him as a nickel. Well, if he could do more, and Vic Fangio, of all people, thinks he could do more, then try it out. This is what OTAs, mini camp, training camp, that's what it's all for. And Vic likes to play his guys too in the preseason, so you'll probably see him out there in the preseason a little bit as well. Have at it, man. Oh, and I can keep Cooper DeJean on the field more? Yeah, I'm going to, please, by all means, have at it. So I don't know any negative way you could look at it other than, oh, well, don't try him at other places when he's really good at one. Why ask you? You could mess him up. I don't think he's got that type of mentality. I give him the whatever credential. He's, safety, yeah, whatever. Outside, yeah, sure, whatever. Doesn't phase him. He's ready to play. He's aggressive. He could tackle. He could be a ball hawk. Very smart. Extremely versatile. Like every once in a while, yeah, you use the knife for the Swiss Army knife, but sometimes you use the scissors, sometimes the tweezers, sometimes the toothpick. It's all the same tool. It's all the same instrument. So yeah, I'm all for it. One of the stories come out there. Yeah, let's do it. I think one of the guys though, most to prove, he's proven he could do it. Similar along the lines of Dallas Goedert. The other name that comes to mind is Jordan Davis, and we talked about him a lot yesterday on Eagle Squad. Jordan Davis, to me, and we talked about him a lot yesterday on this show as well, just in terms of staying in shape, and I'm glad he fell in love with the Peloton. That's wonderful, But yeah, the Eagles, talk about investing. The Eagles picked up the option on you despite an inconsistent year. Despite a good start and a very strong finish and not much in between, the Eagles still picked up that option. The step up for him, I don't think necessarily is to come in terms of snap percentage, snap count, and all that. Because again, you go to the strategy that goes into that. Well, if the Eagles do their job on first and second down, he's not going to be out there for a 3rd and 9 or a 3rd and 12. So what I'd like to see from Jordan Davis in the upcoming season is I'd like to see Jordan Davis up those sack numbers a little bit, up those hurry numbers a little bit. That, to me, I think will be a stronger measure for success for him, because a lot of it goes down to Jalen Carter and how he's taking a lot of the double teams. Can Jordan Davis fight his way through one-on-one? Can he fight his way through a double team? Can he get after the quarterback? Can he show you that he can go out there and be aggressive? Because you're talking about a guy right now in Jordan Davis that does not do that often. I mean, I mentioned the sacks, for instance. Yeah, I think he could be a 5.5 sack guy. I think he could be a 6.5 sack guy. If you're talking about a guy that's coming off a year where he only had a sack and a half, which he did, and one of those was that Saints game that I've referenced. He helped set the tone. He does that. You're talking about a push up the middle with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter that not many offensive lines are going to want to mess with. The Lions now, without Ragnow, when you meet up with them, I'm feeling pretty good about this Eagles defensive line getting after it. Jordan Davis certainly has a lot to prove when it comes to overall production and staying in shape. Similar to, again, Dallas Goedert just staying healthy. Can Jordan Davis stay in shape? How often can he stay on that Peloton during the season to make sure that he can get after it as the season goes on? A sack last, I thought it was a sack and a half. Sack last year, 2.5 sacks the year prior. Yeah, would love to see him get out there more. And the official drop was 45% of the snaps in 2023 to 37% of the snaps last year. That's what you're looking at for Jordan Davis. All right. I have Oklahoma City still winning this series in 6. I was very surprised of a lot of the people that were like, 5 games, OKC in 5 games, the gentleman's sweep, whatever you call it, Tyrese Halliburton has been an absolute killer. And last night, Tyrese Halliburton got the rebound with whatever, I think it was like 9 seconds left off an SGA miss. Pacers down a point. SGA misses it. They get the ball to Halliburton. He brings it up. He's covered on the play. Brings it to about the foul line extended and knocks down a jumper with 0.3 seconds left. It was the first lead of the game for the Pacers. And for Tyrese Halliburton, oh my goodness gracious. Your name's being mentioned with some pretty good talent here. Most tying or go-ahead field goals in the final 5 seconds of a playoff game since 1997. Reggie Miller, 5. Tyrese Halliburton, 5. This game winner was the 4th of this postseason for him. LeBron James, 8. That's some pretty good company, Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, 2 firsts, and there's something else for Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, and there's one more I'm missing there. And the Sixers didn't do that deal. Could you imagine a 2 Tyrese backcourt? That'd be pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Good Lord. So Indiana Pacers up 1-0 on the Oklahoma City Thunder, just like that. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. So take advantage of all they have to offer on the Game Time app. And don't forget about their incredible, amazing Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. You know what that does? That filters out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motor Cars? Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorCars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing. It's fine Friday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know 87 degrees today? Holy Stromboli. I'm for it. I got to do some landscaping today. I got Locked On Sixers with Keith Pompey coming up later today. I think we're going live at 10 o'clock, so don't miss it. If not, I'll tweet it out later. But got that. Got some landscaping, got some run around. Got a family reunion coming up tomorrow. My mom's family reunion. My Baltimore cousins. My Polish side of the family. We're all getting together. It's weird. They always, my mom's like, oh, we're doing tacos. I'm like, we're doing tacos? Really? A bunch of Sikorskis are doing tacos. Interesting. But I'm like, okay, well, if you guys are doing tacos, I'm bringing meatballs. So I am. I'm bringing meatball sliders. Let me tell you, okay? I make, my family tradition meatballs, but if you have yours, let me tell you what's a real crowd pleaser, okay? Just like the old country, a king Hawaiian roll, okay? Take the king Hawaiian roll, take your meatball, put it on there with the marinara, the gravy, okay, the pomodoro, right? Put that on the king Hawaiian roll, little sharp provolone. Phenomenal. Crowd pleaser, okay? Crowd pleaser. Sean Kilray, what's going on? Good morning. Sean Kilray, true or false? Jalen Hurts is the Tyrese Halliburton of the NFL. How do you mean? Like in terms of quantum leaps forward? That I would agree with. The Hurtsian leap, the Halliburton leap, the Reese leap. I don't know. Danny Prado, what's going on? Hello, good morning. Jason A, hello. Sean Comer, Jesus is the first Phillies pitcher to allow 20 earned runs in a two-start span since, I'm going to say Claude, because I'm cultured. Claude Willoughby? 1930. Wow. Stock market crashed, and so did his ERA. Stock market was 29, whatever. Sean Curry, his are currently 4 ERA. Really? I thought it was higher, but I believe you. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Good morning. Jason A, I've been saying all week before the finals, Indy is going to win this series. I still don't expect them to win it, but I expected it to be a series. Pin 96-17. Thank you. Morning, Farzi. No trust in the Phillies, OKC in 7. 7 games. Honestly, they deserve to, says Jason A. Highest paid relievers in Major League Baseball this season. Josh Hader, $19 million. Edwin Diaz, $18.3 million. Taijuan Walker, $18 million. Iglesias, $16 million. Presley, $14.1 million. Goodness gracious. Jeremy Von Scabbert, 4.46 ERA. As for the Phillies, I did not want to make any moves this year. This team is too inconsistent. They have a resume. This is who they are. We need to get younger and shed some salary. Well, then that means no Kyle Schwarber, unfortunately. But when you've invested, depending on how you look at the third highest payroll in baseball, and when you are very much known for I want my freaking trophy back, John Middleton, I don't see a reset, rebuild, retool. This is the way they're going to go about it, and that's that. I look at Austin Hayes, that acquisition from last year. I haven't looked at his numbers in a while, but I know he was knocking the cover off the ball for a while this year. But I looked at the Austin Hayes acquisition, and it's like, does Dave Dombrowski just not understand the left field position? Does he not give a damn about it? Because that ain't it. And Max Kepler ain't it. And Kyle Schwarber in left field wasn't it. DH? Yay. It's rough, man. It's rough. Oh, Philly Magic. Oh, come on. Weston Wilson now has a better last 2 games than Luzardo. Let me get this real quick, because this is something I want to make sure I know. I know his ERA ballooned. Actually, you know what? I think I can put it up for you guys. Let's do that. Through the magic of technology. Let's get that John up there, huh? How do you feel about that? Is this it? This is it. Okay. ERA of 4.46. Holy pots and pans, man. That ain't great. That ain't great. But where are the buttons that I'm pushing here? Here we go. Weston Wilson. Nick Winiani. What? Jason A. Is the right coach for Philly. Really appreciate how he has a concise and clear message to the team. If there's anything you can say that Nick Sirianni does great, is he prepares his team and he knows how to push the buttons. Now, some people might say, oh, that's what he knows who to yell at and who to coddle. No, that's not what I mean. He knows how to push the buttons. Like, okay, activate, focus now. Has a way of doing it. Has a way of doing it. Matt LeBlanc, what's going on? Romano has one bad game against his former team after pitching much better, and you are killing this guy for it. Sad? I just kind of like it when he pitches well. He had that 6-game stretch? Yeah, where he was great. He built confidence for me. But we're talking about an earned run against Toronto, an earned run against Milwaukee. Only has one appearance in May that they got to him in a great month of May. 2.53 ERA. An ERA of damn near 13 in the month of April. ERA of 9 in the month of his 2 appearances in March. So, yeah, he pitched really well for a while, and now he's not. So that's very inconsistent for a guy that's supposed to be a 2-time All-Star closer and reliever. So I think if I don't kill him, I'm being Disney glasses about it. But yeah, let's hope that he has another May left in him. Let's hope that. Sorry, but thank you, Matt. Jerry Von Skyver, what's going on again? I think this organization is screwed up. The young guys, Stott, Marsh, Bohm, let these guys occasionally play against lefties. The message the organization is sending these guys, you can't hit left. Yeah. They've tried with Stott more recently to let it rip, but that's basically been because of a lack of options that I think them willing to be flexible. But I agree with you, Jeremy. I agree with you in this. You don't tell a guy, let's see, 25, 26 years old, now 27 in Bryson Stott. You don't tell him, well, you can't hit a lefty right now, so you never will. You're never in the lineup. Bye. And then this year, they've tried to unleash it a little bit more. Sean Gillespie, still can't believe OKC gave that game away. It's pretty wild. Aaron Rodgers is in PA. Boo. The mommy. What's going on? Phillies are just plain killing me since the game that Harper got plunked. There you go. April. Good morning, April. What's going on? Philly Magic. Next year, Painter and Abel need to start. Luzardo and Nola need to go if this keeps up. How about Nola having that set? Oh, we talked about the setback yesterday. Wait, what? Hoping Stott isn't Denny Doyle the second? That's funny. Sean Gillespie doesn't understand the Steelers. Who does at this point anymore? Ooh, Jerry Von Skyver. Stott is more like Larry Boa. All right. That's not a compliment. Oh, Pin 9617. That's interesting. Ty Robinson's the real deal. This is Jordan Davis last year. The Birds will draft another defensive tackle. Jalen Carter had a lot of compliments for Ty Robinson. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he does knock it down this year. Oh, April had a meatball sub last night from with rolls from Del Buenos. Very nice. Muy bien. Don't drop your wallet. That's funny. That's Baltimore. That's Baltimore. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush brought to by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies and Pirates get a 3-game series underway tonight. Joe Ross will make the start. 6:40 start time tonight. I think I said 6:45 earlier. That was wrong. PNC Park. If there's anything to watch just for the ballpark, PNC Park would be it. Joe Ross, Bailey Falter. Joe Ross 2-1 on the season with a 4.34 ERA. It's okay, sweetheart. I'm ending the show anyway. Oh, I didn't turn this light on today. There we go. Say hello.
Hello.
You excited for the family reunion tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Saturday, bruh. What do you have in your hand? It sounded like a candy wrapper. Okay. Joe Ross goes against Bailey Falter. Joe Ross 2-1 on the season. 4.34 ERA out of the bullpen, obviously, for the Phillies. Bailey Falter 4-3 with a 3.14 ERA. Now, this is not your mother's Bailey Falter. Okay, people? Bailey Falter has allowed 2 runs in his last 5 starts, and both those runs came in 1 start. He has been straight afire so far in the month. He's allowed 3 runs in total in the month of May. Well, now it's June anyway. So he had a great May. A .76 ERA.
Daddy.
Yes, sweetheart.
But it's June.
Now it's June. Correct. May is over. Daddy messed that up.
Didn't say June.
I just said June. What are you on social media? Hey, what's that look?
It's my smile.
That's just okay. So Bailey Falter, really good in the month of May for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Oh, later today, we got Locked On 76ers. Me and Keith Pompey breaking it down. Yes, sweetheart.
I have to hiccup.
Okay. Ah! Okay.
Can I watch you for after?
Yes, you may.
Yay!
All right. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, here we go. Everyone's saying hello. Here we go. Lil Toots says Sean. April says hi. Everyone's saying hi. There you go. Say hi.
Hi.
Say have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
All right. I'll see you guys later on Locked On 76ers with Keith Pompey and yours truly on Locked On Sixers YouTube channel. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll also be with you guys tonight, Locked On Phillies YouTube channel for your Phillies postcasts. See you guys then.